The universe doesn't care about your feelings, your excuses, or your limitations. It's a vast and different machine, running on laws that don't bend, don't negotiate, and don't wait for you to catch up. If you want to make a dent in it, any dent at all, you've got to learn faster than everyone else and master everything that matters. Most people don't get this. They shuffle through life, memorizing trivia, chasing credentials, collecting gold stars, hoping some authority figure hands them the keys to the future. That's a delusion. The secret isn't out there in some system, some institution, or some rulebook. It's in your head. It's in how you think, how you break things down to their raw essence, and how you rebuild them better than anyone else ever could. I'm going to lay it out for you step by step, piece by piece, so you can stop drifting and start dominating. First, stop wasting time. Time is the ultimate resource, finite, non-negotiable, and brutal. You don't get a second chance at it. Every moment you spend on something pointless is a moment you're not unraveling the world's code. Learning fast isn't about cramming more hours into your day. It's about making every hour hit 10 times harder. Cut the noise with extreme prejudice. Social media rabbit holes sucking you in for hours. Endless news cycles feeding you garbage. Opinions from loudmouths who don't even understand the game. Dump it all. Focus only on what moves the needle forward. Ask yourself, every single time, does this make me smarter? Does it shove me closer to a goal worth having? If the answer is no, it's trash. Delete it from your life. Your attention is a laser beam. Aim it at what counts, and burn through the clutter. Now, let's hit the core, first principles. Most people learn by copying, like monkeys watching other monkeys. They see what's already out there, tweak it a little, and call it progress. That's fine if you're content being average, but average doesn't shift the trajectory of history. To master everything, you've got to dig way deeper. Strip every problem down to its raw fundamental truths, down to the atoms of reality. Ask what's really happening here. What are the basic building blocks that can't be broken further? Forget what everyone else says is possible. Calculate what's actually possible. Physics doesn't care about your feelings or society's rules. Logic doesn't flinch under pressure. When you reason from the ground up, you see gaps and opportunities others don't even know exist. You're not just learning, you're inventing from scratch. Take something massive and intimidating, rocket engineering, artificial intelligence, quantum mechanics, whatever. People stare at these fields and think there's some kind of dark magic, locked away for an elite class of geniuses. That's absolute nonsense. They're just stacks of smaller problems, layered together like a puzzle. Break them apart. What's the physics of thrust? How does it scale with mass and velocity? What's the math behind a neural network's decision tree? How does backpropagation even work? What's the deal with superposition in quantum systems? Dig until you hit the bedrock of truth, the stuff that doesn't bend or budge, then build your understanding back up, piece by piece. You'll be stunned how fast the fog lifts when you stop swallowing someone else's half-baked, pre-digested answers, and start reasoning for yourself. It's not wizardry, it's a method, and anyone can use it if they've got the guts. Next, prioritize what's hard. Easy stuff is a trap, a cozy little comfort zone for the lazy and the timid. Anyone can memorize the basics, parrot some facts, and feel clever about it. Mastery doesn't live there. It lives in the brutal mind-bending challenges, the ones that scare you, the ones that make your brain scream for mercy. That's where the real growth hides. If you're comfortable, you're coasting, and coasting is for people who don't matter. Seek out the edge of what you can handle, then push it until it cracks, then keep pushing past it. The harder the problem, the more you gain when you crack it wide open. That's not linear growth, that's exponential. Mastering the tough stuff doesn't just teach you a skill. It rewires your mind to tackle anything, no matter how big or ugly. Don't just read. Do. Theory without action is dead weight, a pile of useless paper. You want to master something, build it, break it, fix it. Knowledge doesn't sink into your bones until you get your hands dirty and feel the weight of it. Reading about orbital mechanics won't make you a rocket scientist. Running the numbers on a trajectory, designing a thruster from scratch, testing it until it either flies or blows up, that's what does it. The world doesn't care about your book smarts, or how many pages you've flipped. It pays for results you can point to. Fail fast and fail often. Failure's just raw data, if you're smart enough to dissect it. Every crash, every misstep, every blown circuit is a lesson. Ask what went wrong. Why? How do I fix it? Stack enough of those lessons, and you're untouchable. Speed comes from systems. Your brain's a machine. Treat it like one and tune it up. Most people learn like they're lost in a maze, stumbling blind, doubling back, wasting energy on dead ends. That's inefficient and stupid. Build a framework instead. Start with the big picture. What's the end game here? What are the key components that hold it together? Then zoom in, piece by piece, layer by layer. Connect the dots as you go. Use mental models, physics for how forces interact, probability for dealing with uncertainty, economics for understanding trade-offs and incentives. The more models you master, the faster you spot patterns across domains, across problems, across everything. Pattern recognition isn't some mystical gift, it's a skill you engineer by stacking knowledge the right way. It's how you leap from novice to expert in half the time. Optimize your mind like you'd optimize a factory. Cut the waste, streamline the process, crank the output to maximum. Question everything. Assumptions are the silent killer of learning, creeping in like rust. People hear, "This is how it's done," and switch off their brains, pure intellectual surrender. Don't do that. Challenge every premise, every sacred cow. Why is it done that way? Is it the best way, or just the lazy way? Could it be 10 times better, 100 times better? Most of what you're taught is baggage. Someone else's shortcuts, someone else's limits, handed down like it's gospel truth. Tear it apart. Rip it to shreds. If you're not questioning, you're not learning, you're parroting like a trained bird. Masters don't mimic, they redefine the game. Doubt is your tool, wield it like a blade to slice through the clutter and get to what's real. Curiosity is your fuel. You've got to crave understanding like it's oxygen, like it's the only thing keeping you alive. If you're not obsessed with how things work, really work, you'll stall out and fade away. Treat the world like a giant puzzle screaming to be solved. Why does the sun fuse hydrogen into helium? How do cells replicate with such precision? What's the root of consciousness? Is it computation, chemistry, or something we haven't even named yet? Doesn't matter if it's practical today. Every question you chase stretches your mind's capacity to think, to connect, to create. Knowledge compounds like interest in a bank account. The more you know, the more you can know, and it builds faster than you believe. Apathy is a death sentence for progress. Curiosity is the spark that lights the fire. Feed it relentlessly. Starve it, and you're dead. Don't fear complexity. People run from big systems, ecosystems, economies, galaxies, because they look chaotic and overwhelming. They're not. They're just simple rules, interacting at scale, playing out in ways you can predict if you understand them. Master the rules, and the mess turns into order, like flipping a switch. You can learn anything. Anything. If you climb the ladder one rung at a time. Start with the basics, the nuts and bolts, but always aim for the top, the full picture. Every step builds on the last, every insight links to the next. A year from now, you'll look back and laugh at how small the impossible used to seem. Complexity isn't a wall to crash into, it's a staircase to climb. Step up, keep stepping, and don't look down. Discipline trumps talent every time. Raw smarts are nice, a shiny little bonus, but they're overrated. The person who wins isn't the brightest, they're the one who shows up, grinds through the fog, and keeps moving no matter what. Learning fast isn't about being a genius, it's about being relentless, unyielding, unstoppable. Set a target, something big, something worth bleeding for. Break it into chunks you can attack, hit it every single day. Miss a day. Fine, life's messy. Miss two. You're sliding backward, losing ground. Momentum is everything. Lose it, and you're starting over. Build habits that force you to learn, even when you're tired, even when you'd rather quit. Feelings are noise, distractions, action is signal. The only thing that matters, consistency turns effort into power. Raw, unfiltered power. Feedback is your accelerator. Test what you think you know. Don't just sit on it. Teach it to someone else, argue it with someone sharper than you. If you can't explain it clearly, simply, you don't understand it yet, go back and figure it out. Surround yourself with minds that challenge you, that poke holes in your ideas. Iron sharpens iron, and dull stays dull. Solo learning is slow, plodding, clashing with other thinkers speeds it up, lights a fire under you. Don't dodge criticism, hunt it down like prey. It's free data, pure and unfiltered. Take it, analyze it, adjust, iterate, improve. That's how you refine raw knowledge into mastery, how you turn coal into diamond. Stagnation is the enemy. Feedback is the weapon that kills it. Scale your thinking. Most people learn for tiny stakes, a job, a grade, a pat on the back, from someone who doesn't even matter. That's small time petty. Think bigger, way bigger. How does this knowledge reshape the world? How does it push humanity forward? A step, a leap, a revolution. Learning isn't just about you, it's about what you can do with it. Mastering everything means seeing the ripple effects, the cascading. If you crack fusion energy, you don't just light up a city, you rewrite civilization's playbook. If you decode consciousness, you don't just solve a philosophy riddle, you redefine what it means to be human. Aim for the grand scale, the stuff that echoes through time. Small goals breed small minds, massive goals forge titans. Tie every lesson to something bigger than yourself, and you'll never run out of reasons to keep pushing. Adapt or die. The world doesn't sit still, it shifts, twists, accelerates. What worked yesterday might be useless tomorrow. Learning fast means staying fluid, ready to pivot when the ground moves. Cling to a method or a mindset too long, and you're a fossil, irrelevant before you even notice. Watch the edges, new tech, new ideas, new problems popping up like cracks in the pavement. Dive into them while they're fresh, before the crowd catches on. The fastest learners aren't the ones perfecting the old game, they're the ones rewriting the rules of the new one. Flexibility isn't weakness, it's strength, the kind that bends but never breaks. Master that, and you're always one step ahead. Own your ignorance. Nobody knows everything. Nobody. The difference is, most people fake it, bluff their way through, terrified of looking dumb. That's a trap. Admitting you don't know something isn't defeat, it's the first move toward mastery. Say it out loud, I don't get this yet. Then hunt the answer down like it's prey. Every gap in your knowledge is a chance to grow, a loose thread to pull until the whole puzzle unravels. The more you embrace what you don't know, the faster you fill it in. Pretending locks you in place, owning it sets you free. Masters aren't born, they're built, brick by brick, from the humility to start at zero. Leverage tools. Your brain's powerful, but it's not enough. Use what's out there. Software, data, networks, machines, to amplify your reach. Want to crunch numbers faster? Learn Python. Master it in a month, and let it rip through problems that'd take years by hand. Need to sift through chaos? AI's your sidekick. Feed it the right questions, and it'll spit out patterns you'd miss on your own. Books, papers, forums, X-posts, scoop up every resource, and squeeze it dry. Tools don't replace thinking, they turbocharge it. The best minds don't just work harder, they work smarter, stacking every advantage until the game's rigged in their favor. Build your arsenal, and wield it like a weapon. Connect the unconnected. Mastery isn't linear, it's a web. The real breakthroughs come when you smash fields together, when you drag insights from one domain into another. Biology plus engineering equals biotech. Physics plus computing equals quantum chips. History plus psychology equals strategy that wins wars or builds empires. Most people silo their knowledge, lock it in neat little boxes. That's weak. Tear down the walls, look for the overlap, the collisions, the sparks. The more you link, the more you see what others can't. That's not just learning, that's creating, bending reality to your will. The universe is one giant system. Treat it that way, and you'll unlock doors nobody even knew were there. Rest, but don't stop. Your mind's a muscle. Push it too hard without a break, and it snaps. Burnout's real, and it's a productivity killer. Sleep hard, eat clean, move your body. Keep the machine running at peak, but don't confuse rest with laziness. Even when you're off, let your brain chew on problems in the background. Some of the best insights hit when you're not grinding, showering, walking, staring at the sky. Downtime isn't wasted, it's when the dots connect quietly, without you forcing it. Then get back in the ring, refreshed, sharper, ready to hit harder. Balance isn't slowing down, it's optimizing for the long haul. Teach to solidify. You don't fully own something until you can break it down for someone else, plain and simple. Teaching forces you to wrestle with your own gaps, to clarify the murky spots. Write it out, speak it, argue it, doesn't matter how, just do it. Every time you explain, you refine. Every question you answer sharpens the blade. Plus you build a crew, people who get it, who push you back, who amplify what you're doing. Mastery isn't a solo gig, it's a network effect. The more you share, the more you gain. Hoarding knowledge is for suckers. Spread it, and it grows. Finally, never settle. The second you think you've mastered something, you're done growing. There's always more. Another layer, another challenge, another peak. Comfort's a coffin. Restlessness keeps you alive. Look at the giants: Nikola Tesla, Einstein, Da Vinci. They didn't stop at good enough. They tore through boundaries like they were paper, chased the next impossible thing, and then the next. That's the mindset. Every finish line's just a starting block. The universe is infinite, and so's what you can do with it, if you've got the nerve to keep going. So here's the secret, laid bare. Learn fast and master everything, by stripping life to its bones. Focus, first principles, hard problems, action, systems, doubt, curiosity, discipline, feedback, scale, adaptability, humility, tools, connections, rest, teaching, and relentless drive. No shortcuts, no fluff, no excuses. It's a machine you build inside yourself, piece by piece, until it runs so hot, it bends the world to your will. Start now, time's ticking,
and the universe isn't waiting.